Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Silver Sunday on this March the 7th. How are y'all doing?
Today's not
Hope you're
Wednesday?
doing great.
It's not. This is
No,
Wednesday,
it's not Wednesday.
right? This is Wednesday Wham, right?
You have woken up and found yourself on the wrong side of the week, Tommy.
Oh,
what is this
That's a
here?
common
This
thing
must
for
be
him,
Pete.
for what I heard.
I gotta go.
So we're being invaded by Tommy, who's normally here on Wednesday. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silver Sunday on this March the 7th. Stephen Brown says, hi. Nita Lanning says, congrats, Barb.
Thank you. I am excited.
Oh, and she
Very
called me.
proud.
And
Traitor,
she
too.
called you the traitor because you're here on Sunday.
Well, then I'm
So-
not gonna give her a page from her husband's book. Then
There you go. That's,
Yes.
words have meaning, right?
Mhm. She owes me
I do
some
not know
cookies.
what you speak of.
Okay, so we want to shout out to our sponsor, Daytona Beach Comic Con, that will be this September the 18th and the 19th. Be sure to look them up, make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. In our opinion, the coolest comic con in the Orlando area. We love, and I need to be careful saying that, shouldn't I? Because there's other cool comic cons. We're going to the new Olo here in about 3 weeks, something like that. It's the first one, so I can't call it the coolest yet. Steve, if you're listening, Trish, but I'm sure it's going to be right up there. But Daytona is in, it's what, hour and a half away, so from Orlando. But yes, so shout out to Daytona. That will be happening this year. We appreciate your sponsorship. What else? There was something. Oh, Kickstarter. So all the Kickstarter, except for you, Kirk, if you're listening.
One guy. That's
One
good.
guy. Yeah, and the reason
Well, it's not good
doesn't-
that he didn't get his book, but it's good that you got it all out. But one guy. That's great.
all but one guy, and the reason is Kirk. He's the one who got the original Mike Belcher piece. And if anyone was paying attention to the weather, you know that that area in Kentucky where Mike lives has been like super flooded. He sent me some messages and he said, look, I haven't been able to, the area, apparently he's like on an island that's been surrounded by water. So he's flooded. He goes, I can't get anywhere. He goes, my house is fine. Well, I'm not flooded, but I can't get anywhere because the roads are covered with water.
So Kentucky's an island? Is that what you're saying?
Well, where
It is now.
Yeah, it is now. Where he lives, because it's all those hills out there.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah, and so he could not get from his home to the post office. He didn't draw me a map, and I don't know exactly how it happened, but he couldn't get to the post office. But I do have I did get something from him, I think yesterday, that's had a tracking number that he managed to get the artwork out. So that artwork is on its way, Mr. Kirk Spencer, if you are listening. And as soon as I get it, I will turn it around and send it back out to you. And I appreciate your patience on that. But yeah, so Kickstarter, this coming Thursday, Fire Rush 2, and Twilight Grim 2. Both of them are the second issues. Now, here's the thing about this one, okay? So Kickstarter has done something we have finally, we've been wanting them to do for some time. We can do add-ons now. So that's one of the things that I've been busy trying to do is figure, because it's a little different trying to figure things out. And I keep going back and looking at the rewards, the tiers, and there's 5. And I'm like, that just doesn't look right, because we normally have like 20 tiers with all the artwork that we have, because you guys are always very generous and we get artwork, right? And I'm like, it just doesn't look right. There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
And
but it makes it look so much cleaner.
It does.
And all that kind of, I think it's a great thing. I'm glad that they opened it for everybody.
But I'm a little nervous because I've never built one out that has it like this, and so I keep looking at it, and then I go to the add-ons, and so so we got a whole bunch of add-ons. There's a ton of add-ons, right? But
that's great.
No, it is. But and I like it because for the add-ons you can do one, right? Let's say the other cool thing is, let's say I've got
with a limited of one. So if there's only one available, once somebody gets it, it's taken out of the list. That's
right.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like say if someone says, oh, I want this this cat and mouse trading card that I didn't get for the first time. I can stick these on there, and if I've only got 10 left, I can put 10. And if they're gone, right?
Yep.
So so there's a lot that I'm still having to play with and try to figure out with these add-ons. But it's both I'm a little nervous, and it's both exciting about it.
I do know some of the Kickstarters that I've pledged that had add-ons. I ended up buying more stuff, or not buying, because it's not a store. We can't say it's a store. We get in trouble. Pledging,
right.
And I end up spending more than what it's like going to Walmart. You go in there to get some milk, and then you come out with $300 worth of junk. So, not that our stuff is junk. I didn't mean it that way, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you end up getting more stuff because you don't have to fight, because you never can get that reward level that's got one of this and 3 of those and 4 of this, and then so now you just go and get the book. Yeah, there you go. It's fabulous. It's a much better way how to do it.
So
I like that.
And I even had a guy just email me because he got his rewards for the Teen Beetle Switchblade, and he emailed me and he said, "Hey, I didn't get this. Can I still get this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can't." But the reason he didn't get it, wasn't one of the reward levels, right? And so he wants it, and I'm, we don't ever want to turn anyone down. Now we can just offer kind of the basic stuff. Here it is. Now you just go and add anything else you want, right?
Yeah, and like if somebody says they want to buy Cat and Mouse #1, you can just go add it to the thing, and you can just go back into and find his thing, and then, there it is, Cat and Mouse, and drop it in there, and boom, and added it to his. Yeah.
So
even if it's not a Cat and Mouse Kickstarter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, trust me. That's one of the things. Cat and Mouse 1, 2, 3, they're all there. Divinity 1 is there. I mean, I'm adding the whole. I'm trying to add the whole Silverline library.
The whole library, yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Isn't it though? That's what I'm saying. But like I said, it's because it's different and it's all on the add-ons. I'm a little nervous about it because it looks different to me. We've done 10 of these things so far, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, it feels funny, but I'm excited about it because
it'll be an accounting nightmare for me, but it sounds awesome.
Oh, you think it's a way to because
I want to throw another wrench into this.
No wrenches.
Oh, come on. Because I was just going to tell you, Roland, you could pick 4 pages out of the ink pages to throw onto the Kickstarter.
Yeah. Okay. We'll swap emails about that. Yeah. Because
for those of you who don't know, who are listening here, I'm also the CFO for Silverline. So I handle all the accounting. Like, oh, this sounds so much fun, but oh my God, this is gonna be.
Yeah. So is it just like a list on there? It's like a list of extra stuff you add on, or how?
Well, you've got your reward levels, right?
Right.
And you pick the one you want, and then it kind of goes to another page that then lists a bunch of add-on things, and you just pick the ones you want and say these are what I want, and then you get that reward plus whatever it is that are add-ons.
Okay, so you don't see the list until you make a pledge in one of the actual things, and then it takes you to another page.
Yes,
unless they change it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true that you don't. But what I'm going to do is make sure that over on our main page,
just list them.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say, hey, these add-ons are available to you.
Yeah.
So that they know Yeah, so that they know when they look at the page, they'll be able to see the stuff that's there, as well as the main pledges. They'll be able to see the add-ons that are available when they go there.
So the add-on stuff, is that included in any of the tiers, or is that stuff so it's all just completely separate things?
No, you would put your main things in the tiers. So like, you'd put your flip book and then your different covers and that kind of thing. So somebody can pick which one they want. And then as soon as they say they want, flip book with these 2 covers, then they go to the next page and then there's the add-ons there. And you say, hey, look, I want the cat and mouse. I want the Trump's book, there. I want the the Pete TikTok dance video, and then that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Often the case.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. Pete has a TikTok dance video. What?
I haven't seen that.
So if you get a royalty check for a quarter, you're going to know that somebody bought it.
Exactly. It's going to be a mess.
That's how I'm going to pay.
It is going to be a mess. That's for sure.
It'll be a challenge. Let's put it that way, but I'll figure it out.
We'll probably just toss those all in as donated to the Kickstarter, to the books that are, because we want this to go to these Kickstarters, and then of course going forward they will all continue to be available. So rather than try to say, okay,
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, rather than trying to say, okay, this issue of Cat and Mouse sold, and Roland and Barb and Alex, will get this, a little bit of no, it just all goes towards the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's we're all for one and one for all.
That's right. Yeah.
Because eventually you'll be on another Kickstarter where some people will help contribute.
You'll make it up elsewhere.
That's
so
what,
it all
that's
come
exactly
around.
it. Yeah. So like I said, I'm both excited about it because this is something that many of us on Kickstarter have been screaming for, and so we have it, and so I'm also a little bit nervous about it just because it's different. And I still look at it and I still have questions. I'm like, okay, well, how is this going to work with this? And I'm not sure. So some of it's just I won't get those answers until it goes live. And then I'll have to look at it and go, oh crap, I got to go fix this isn't right. And because I can see it, but I don't know how it works until you can actually get in and kind of say, okay, this is the purchase I want to make, that kind of thing. So
it'll be a lot of fun though.
It's exciting. And the bottom line is, we've got 2 issue number 2s of books that you guys have said you liked, so we're excited to get them to you. And the fun stuff is number 3 of Friar Rush is already in John's hands. It's in line, so he's going to Wolf Hunter before he gets on to Friar Rush 3, but it's in his hands, so it's available to him to start slapping some ink. And Twilight Grim 3 is in Mickey Clausen's hands, so it has been penciled and inked, and is there for Mickey to color. And I can't remember. I have to go back and look. I can't remember if it's been lettered or not, but I think it has, but I'm not sure. So anyway, we're moving right along, and we got a whole bunch of other books just beginning to really come close to being finished. So this is going to be an interesting summer. I'm already looking and thinking, are we going to have to do 3 books on a Kickstarter? So we'll just have to see. But we're getting there, and so that's kind of exciting. Brett, are we sharing somebody sharing Pete's iPhone there? Let me change that to Pete's art. Brett, can you hear me? Yeah, please do. And because I spoke to him, it reminded me that he needs an introduction here. You can't see it, but I hear him in my ear occasionally. And I was watching a replay of one of our videos the other day, and we all kind of stop. And then we respond to something because Brett's talking in our ears. And so you can't hear him, but if you see us do something like that, that means my son, Brett, who is the unpaid producer here, is talking in my ear. So thank you, Brett, for turning all the knobs and pushing all the buttons behind the scenes here. Pete's art. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll let you figure that out on your as we move forward, but we're going to move forward. Anybody else got anything before we jump into tonight's topic?
Our store?
Yes. We are very close to having our merch store available. We're like this, can't see it, but we're like this close. We've been the CEO BJ and I have been working on getting it finished, and we're so close. We're so close to getting it done. So hopefully 2 weeks. We've also got some other exciting news, but I'm going to wait and talk about that.
What's that?
Another wait and talk about that another time. We want to go ahead and finalize it this week. So and then we'll probably talk about it next Sunday. So but other than that, we just keep moving forward, making comics. And now let's talk about
make comics. Is that
autographs.
what we do here?
Comics.
So I'll tell you a story. You guys probably, everyone knows who Neil Adams is, right? Of course.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, there was a bit of a public kerfluffle in which Neil Adams called out. I can't remember who he called out. It might have been Mark Waid, but I can't remember, or it might have been Kurt Busiek. I don't remember. But he said something to the effect of all comic book creators should charge for their autographs. He does, right? And if you've ever seen Neil Adams at a convention, he does. He charges for his autograph.
Yes, he does.
He charges. He's like one of these media stars. You can't even take your picture with him without paying him money. Shortly after this happened, I went to a Wizard Con down in Fort Lauderdale. Nobody went to. And so there was lots of times, so no one made any money, but you had lots of time to walk around and talk to people. So I met Joel Adams for the very first time in my life. I had worked with Joel Adams as an editor back at Malibu, and I had never met him face to face. And so I went up, was talking to him, we were chit-chatting, and in our conversation, he said, blah, 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 and Neil did it, blah, 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 and then Neil did, blah, 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 and I'm like, wait, Neil Adams? And they were at the same show, right? Neil was on the booth just behind him. He goes, yeah, he's my dad. I'm like, wait, Neil Adams is your dad? He goes, yeah, you didn't know that? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this all these years? He goes, because you would have hired me because of Neil and not because of my own artwork. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. I said, I hired you anyway, and I didn't know you were Neil Adams' son. He goes, well, that's what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to hire me because of my own art and not because I was Neil Adams' son. And so anyway, we had to that took us to a whole nother level of conversation. And then I said something about, I brought up the conversation, and I said, so why don't you charge for your autograph? And he proceeded to laugh, and we had a good time. And so, and because no one was at this convention, so I immediately walked around to the other side. And I know Neil not well, but well enough to talk to him. And so I walked up around to the other side, and I said, hey, Neil, did you know there is an award-winning artist right behind you? I mean, this guy's won awards for all kind of stuff, and he does not charge for his autograph. Neil literally dropped his pencil, almost threw it down. He goes, I know, and I have told him more times than not. He needs so, and that's when Joel then kind of poked his head over there, and I started a little kind of family squabble there. It was kind of funny. But that sort of brings up the big question. What do you guys think? As comic creators, pros and cons charging for autographs?
All right, I'm going to start this one off.
Okay, you
So
start.
I'm very passionate about this.
Okay.
I've been doing this for a very long time. 1989 is when I broke in, and at my height of my popularity, I was being flown around.
Before time was invented.
Yes, back before the wheel was invented. I was being flown around by condors and pterodactyls to various conventions to do autographs and signings. And back when I was in demand, and they were starting to have this kind of issue back then, and I refused to do it. I will never ever sign for an autograph. I had one guy follow me out into the parking lot because he had missed me at the convention, and he had an entire long box full of comics, and they weren't triples and bunch. They were all single ones. He'd collected every single thing that I had ever done. He followed me out to the parking lot, and he wanted to know if I would sign his comics. And we stood there, and on the trunk of my car, I signed every book in that box. Because
and then security came and got him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No. And then she stabbed him in the throat.
Right.
I know.
Oh, this was the guy you killed?
No, but the thing is, these are the people that put food on my table and kept the lights on in my house. And I just I'm so appreciative of that. I can't ever see charging for an autograph.
What if they're just going to flip them though? What if they're just going to flip them, put them straight on eBay?
Well, I can spot that. He had one single copy of everything that I did.
Yeah.
So that tells me that if he had
ask their
multiple
name
copies,
and you say,
yeah, if he had multiple
Joe,
copies,
thanks
then
for
that would have
buying,
been.
or thanks for getting.
Yeah.
Usually they'll have multiple issues of something that they'll want me to sign, but not this guy. And then they were all in order too. So.
All right. So before I jump on the multiple issues things, does somebody else have thoughts?
Wow.
I'm with Barb. I don't think that I've never signed. I've been, Barb's been doing it longer than I have, but I was early 90s, and I just love the fact that people come up and want me to sign their stuff. It's like, yeah, I'll sign it. I'll sign somebody else's book. Bring it to me. I don't. Yeah.
Wait,
and then when they leave, they're like,
book? Yeah, bring me Spawn #1. I'll sign that. I don't care.
Sheep, I don't care. No. I don't believe in that either.
What do you?
Now I've sat with some other high profile people, and then they'll get like a stack of 100 things, and it's like, at some point you might need to cut that down, especially if there's a line going. But yeah, I'll sign everything. They buy my stuff. I appreciate it.
Go ahead, John. Chomping at the bit. John, I think you're muted. I can't hear you. No, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
We see your mouth moving, and you don't have you don't have the muted sign on, so it must be something going on with you. Oh, wait, briefly, I heard you.
There you go.
All right, no.
All right, let's read his lips, and we'll figure out what he's saying.
Okay, Tommy, you interpret for him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There you go.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what I was going to say is kind of looking at it from trying to kind of play devil's advocate and look at it from both sides. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to charge for an autograph. Obviously, I'm not. But I can kind of see where some of the guys, I mean, there's so much money made off of their signature. Like, you're going to make a whole lot of money off of Jim Lee's signature. You're going to make a whole lot of money off of let's face it, a Rob Liefeld signature, off of Stan Lee's signature. I mean, and I can go through a list of, probably 20 more just off the top of my head. And why shouldn't the creator be able to get at some point it's no longer about, hey, yes, the fans did this, but you got people coming up with, those are really high profile guys, and you got folks bringing in tons of books.
Well, that's what I was
because they know they can
saying.
turn around and flip them.
You gotta cut that that off.
I'm not really understanding the idea. Why would flipping the books be bad? Like, if I sign some books and they
because they're profiting off you. You're doing something for free, and they're profiting off it.
Right, they're profiting off of something you do for free, and that's kind of the thing that's happened over the years with artists. Is with artists and creators, they have gotten the short end of the stick when something was sold in the secondary market for insane money.
Okay.
If you personalize it, they can't profit off of it.
No, they can't. No, it's
different. Sometimes it's still possible if it's wanted bad enough. Like Todd McFarlane doesn't do a whole lot of signings.
So somebody would buy it even if it were saying,
yes.
Hey,
hey Barb.
Hey Boo.
Yes. Hey, thanks for the support, John. Somebody would still buy it.
Huh. Wow. I wouldn't.
I'm still stuck on the
I
part
would
that
Hey,
somebody
if I
could
see
sell
it
my
where it says thanks
signature.
for the support, John. Hey, my name's John. I'll buy that.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. Maybe, so.
Yeah.
But there's still people who do that because it's a signature it's a rare artist signature on the market, even with it being personalized.
I've never understood the appeal of autographs that much, I guess, to spend that kind of money. I've been doing this for a long time, and I think I only have like half a dozen signatures.
And of course, we turn around and we pay for signatures from celebrities.
Wait.
I don't do that.
Be careful how you say we.
Yeah.
I don't pay for them.
Generalize as the human race.
There you go. Yeah.
And I think that's where some of this came from. I think that's where some of Neil Adams' frustration came from, is that, those of us who've been around long enough have seen comic book conventions make a shift. And I'm not going to say that they're not about comics anymore. And that's another argument that we're not going to have today, right? But they've certainly made a shift. The bigger conventions have made a shift from an emphasis on comics to an emphasis on media. And so you have creators like Neil Adams, who goes and they see all these media people playing Batman and all these characters that he's drawn, based a lot of them on stories that he's drawn, and they're charging 40, 50, 60, bucks for an autograph.
Go up.
Well, yeah, okay, so $100. They're charging $100 for an autograph, and then people are coming over there and want his for free. So I kind of understand where some of that comes from, because I don't know, and I could be wrong, but I know that there's a flipping thing, and we'll get to that in a minute, but I don't know so much that a lot of the idea originated from the flipping as opposed to the media people. It's like, hey, look, these media people would not exist at these conventions without us. We were here first, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
We were here first, and now because you're playing cool geek characters based on properties that we did, now you're over there charging $100 for an autograph, and I should be getting some of that as well. I think that's where some of that originated. So I kind of understand some of that, having been at some of these shows and seeing how their lines are long for some of these media stars.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, and it seems like when people go to these shows, instead of buying comics, they're just there to meet their favorite media celebrity.
Yes,
And then like, oh, by the way, behind us, they sell these little funny books with pictures and stuff in them. They're like, behind you, where? That other thing called the main convention hall.
Right.
And,
I've actually heard of some conventions that do not have a comic book vendor at all.
Yep. And they still call themselves Comic Cons. Although I have noticed a shift.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, and I have noticed a shift the last couple of years. Some of these conventions are calling themselves Comics and Pop Culture Con.
Yeah.
So so that just tells me they're going to try to work comics out of it eventually.
It seems like it, but the thing to me is like, now I'm thinking, if you took comics out of a comic convention, regardless of whether you liked them or not, what would you be left with? Just like a few tables selling shirts, or seriously, what do you? I'm kind of curious about like
toys, T-shirts, collectible,
collectibles. They're huge.
Yeah, you'll still have all the media people there. I mean, listen, I went to the big show here in Orlando a couple of years ago, and walked around, and there weren't that many comic books there. There weren't that many comic book dealers there. That very same year, I can't remember exactly what year it was, I went to Daytona Comic Con, and Daytona Beach Comic Con, which I know is a sponsor, and I know I'm just saying this because of that, they're probably about 1/5. Help me out, Tommy. Would you say about 1/5, if that, 1/6 maybe, the floor size of the big box con here in Orlando? They had more comic books in that space than the big con did. So that's hopeful.
It is kind of weird. I mean, who would think? Because I'm trying to think of like there's other conventions, there's sci-fi conventions and other. Has any other convention been hijacked by the media like comic conventions have?
You mean like San Diego Comic Con?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just comic book conventions in general. Talking from other conventions, like you can go to like there's like conventions like you can go for gardening or like home. There's all these weird
Oh,
conventions.
you're saying have other conventions been hijacked?
Yeah,
similarly?
like actual other by like and like comic conventions seem to be these things that have been hijacked by this other business and like.
I don't know. I don't go to the animal groomers conventions very often, so I can't.
Really?
That's not what the goats say there, Nolan.
I can't speak to any other.
Whoa!
Yeah, I haven't. I don't really know. I can't speak to any other conventions.
I didn't say that for any bad thing. I have cousins who show goats. That's the
cool.
only reason I meant.
Well, this is getting worse.
We're gonna get. You're gonna keep bringing that up and get us canceled.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Going to a strange place.
Yes.
I would imagine.
I don't know if I want to be here anymore.
I would imagine
Yes,
that there's somewhat not as bad, but there a somewhat similar problem probably in the gaming industry with bringing in the voiceovers or the actors who are portraying.
Yeah.
And the cosplay,
and especially going from because I can remember early conventions that I went to. There were a lot of board games. There were a lot of tabletop and board games, and I know now you go there, I don't see a whole lot. I know they still have some, but you don't see a whole lot of them anymore. You see a lot of the video games. So I mean, I would say that. I mean, that's just a guess on my part because I don't know, but I would say that there probably is some similarities or some other things happen.
It's weird because it's so weird to think that comic conventions actually almost have like a threat with just, our stories have become popular enough that now other media and other types of media have like basically started adapting them. Let's say corporations, and they're coming in and systematically kind of taking over. And of course, what they don't realize, you systematically take over and push comics out, then you won't have anything to.
You destroy the source material.
You destroy the source material. Yeah. So it's like, that's the thing I don't think they're quite grasping. And of course, and most of these people don't think that.
I mean,
there are conventions out there that call themselves media cons.
Yeah.
So why not? I mean, call yourself a media con if that's what you're gonna.
Yeah, or the pop culture cons. I don't mind that. If you want to do all geeky stuff and still be pop culture, that's fine. But speaking for myself, I'm not. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I do like TV. I do like movies, but I'm not really that interested in going to a convention to meet a movie star. I don't really care enough about it to go see them.
People have asked me, why don't you go up and do, I think it was like John Cusack or whatever. I was like, I see him. I was like, why don't you go say hi to him? I'm like,
why?
Say what? I don't. I mean, I don't know this man. I mean, I've seen his movies, but I don't know this man. I mean, they all
He's gonna forget you 10 seconds after you walk away.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I kind of like going to see them from a distance.
That's what I usually do.
Like we kind of breathe the same air. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, we agree with COVID and stuff. You don't want to breathe the same air, but you know what I'm saying. There we were in the same room. That's cool. That's all I need. I don't need their signature or anything.
Yeah, I just go see him. I don't really have any intent. It doesn't. The one thing I'm always amazed. I guess the one thing I'm always amazed when I see celebrities is how short they are. I don't know. I mean, is it just me? But I see so many of them. Like, he's really short. And I see that a lot. I don't know. Sorry, guys, all you celebrities out there, but you guys kind of.
The last convention I did before COVID shut everything down, I was tabled across from the celebrity aisle, and Emily Swallow, who plays Amara in the Supernatural, and now she's on the SEAL team show, and it was a very slow convention, and then she was just sat across from me, like twiddling her thumbs, and she'd get up and wander around, and I mean,
I'm bored too. How you doing?
Yeah, and I mean, one before that here in Wisconsin, the Wizard World Madison was really slow, and Dean Cain was wandering around to our booths, like, oh, what you selling here? I mean, it's just like, hi, dude.
I met Dean Cain at a Wizard World, also a very slow Wizard World, and gave him some comic books.
Yeah.
He probably.
Why didn't you make him buy them?
He probably ditched them in the hotel room.
Money.
No, he did. Roland signed them and he sold them, and he made.
He flipped them.
He flipped them.
They're people just like anybody else.
Yeah,
basically.
Because I mean, that's what usually happens to me. They'd be like, I started a TV show. Yeah, we don't care. Started movies. I don't care. I know Roland Mann. You know who?
Oh,
yeah.
That's. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a signature.
Yeah. Yeah, we're laughing at it, but I do go. I am more interested because I'm a comic guy, so I'm more interested in seeing a Neil Adams or a Walt Simonson or a John Byrne. I don't know if he still does conventions anymore. I'm more interested in seeing somebody like that than to see. I don't even know who this person was you just mentioned, Barb, but to see the third zombie from the left from Walking Dead.
Yeah. I kind of like just being in their presence, for a second or two, and even if I don't say hello or whatever, I don't typically need signed books, and
I can guarantee you that they get just as bored sitting there all day as
as we are. Yeah, exactly.
I've seen Lou Ferrigno at several Wizard shows, and there's frequent times he looks bored.
I think I've told this story before, but the captain from Firefly, what's his name?
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, I don't forget which show it was. It was here in Orlando. It was. It wasn't the show you were speaking of. It was that other big show that we had here for a while. And then all of a sudden he came. He was there and he was signing, and he came over this loudspeaker and said that come get some signatures. Then all of a sudden I saw him zoom by in an electric wheelchair. He just flew by, and then he stopped at us and talked a second, and he flew by, and then he flew back by, and it's like, what are you so bored? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing. It was so cool.
Yeah.
But
John and
I enjoy that kind of stuff. That's kind of fun.
Well, John and I met David Desmachelin. I can't remember. I don't know how to say his name. You remember how to say his name, John?
No.
He's the guy who played the Russian dude on Ant-Man. Right?
I narrows it down.
Yeah. So Ant-Man had his three buddies, right?
Yeah.
The Russian dude.
Yeah.
David I don't know how to spell his say his last name. Desmachelin or something like that. Anyway, same kind of thing happened at the Memphis show. Is that that just hit a lull. He was walking around looking at. He was buying comics, right? And stopped and chatted. We got a picture with him. Yeah, super nice guy. But here's the thing I wanted to say is that he was a super nice guy, right? Buying comic books. Even still, I'm not going to go pay $40 just to get his autograph.
No.
He was a super nice guy, but I'm not going to go, pay that money just to get his autograph.
Right, Roland has standards.
I will admit,
maybe $25 at the most, but not.
I did pay $20 to get an autograph of Rocco's autograph from Boondock Saints, and got to sit there and talk with him a little bit because he was bored, and he is nuts. Even more so being bored.
Even so being bored.
Yeah,
he was.
I have a Sam Jones autographed picture that he gave me. Again, from a Wizard World that nobody went to, and
I'm starting to see a theme.
He's starting to see a theme in the Wizard Worlds. Yeah. Anyway, talking to him, and we just kind of chit chatted a little bit, and I said, and he said something about comic books, and I said, well, can I give you some comics? He goes, yeah, I'd love to. So I run back to my table, grab a couple of comics, and take them over to him, and he said, well, you got to sign them. So I signed them for him, and then in return, he gave me one of his autographed pictures.
Yep.
Now, the celebrities who take an actual interest in comics are the ones that I really enjoy. I spent a day when I was working for Innovation Comics. I spent a day on the set of Quantum Leap.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Ooh,
and Scott Bakula actually came up and talked to us, and he said, so I read the comic book. He goes, it seems to be doing really well. In fact, I look for it in other countries when I'm up. So, I mean, he was absolutely fascinated with the comic book Quantum Leap, and he was knowledgeable about it, and he made a point to go out and look for it in different locations. My respect for him just went up leaps and bounds.
There's a lot of celebrities out there that are. I mean, Nick Cage is a huge comic book fan. He stated that multiple times.
So is Mark Hamill.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't know that I would go pay $100 to meet Nick Cage, but he is one that I do think it would be.
You're a liar.
I think it would be cool to meet him because we do know that he likes comics.
Right.
You have something in common to talk about.
Exactly.
Right.
That guy, what's his name that plays Superman? He's a huge.
He's a huge gamer and
Brandon
comic.
Roth,
yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Some people are calling him the new king of geeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought that was Zachary Levi. I thought he was the king of geeks.
I thought it was Joe. Mango? What's his long last name? Mangalo, or he played Deathstroke, and yeah.
Oh.
He's got a D&D show, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays D&D on the regular and invites celebrities over to play
Will
D&D.
Wheaton. That's Will
The guy
Wheaton.
from True Blood, right?
Yeah. Will Wheaton's the guy who does
He
that.
was
He
in
has
True
a
Blood,
show.
yeah.
I know.
Will Wheaton was a major geek.
Right.
Yeah.
So, got a couple comments. Wubba says, hello, Silverline fam. Hello, Wubba. We miss you.
Hey, Wubba.
Why isn't he on here? He's supposed to be on Sunday nights.
He's got internet stuff. He told me, yeah.
All right, yeah.
He's always got something going on.
Yeah,
we've been having issues around here lately in Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's
I just got
neck
mine
of the
fixed.
woods, so.
Yeah, I just got mine
Well,
fixed.
the Super Bowl's over. No more excuses.
I gotta give him crap.
Bobby Weskovich says, hey, big dummy, how you doing? What's up, Screw Loose? For those of you who don't know, Bobby Weskovich is my father-in-law.
Father-in-law?
Yep.
Okay.
Wubba said he got Bisley and Silvestri for free. Got autographs for free, so that's cool.
I got Silvestri for free.
Chris Jower says John Martin is breathtaking. Had to be said.
Wow.
Chris Jowers is a strange person.
Oh no, you just called him out.
Yeah, come on now. Don't be mean.
Oh no, that's not being mean. That's being honest. He will tell you he is. For those of you who have not met Chris Jowers, he is always cosplaying as the Joker, and he plays a really good Joker.
So now you should be. We are watching John, the Viking Prince Voltan, inking on. John, what are you inking there?
Wolf Hunter, page 7.
Wolf Hunter, page 7. Nice. Those are pencils by AJ Cassetta, right?
Yes.
Over a script by Tim TK. Tim, of course, is a producer on the Wednesday, and we can't get AJ to join us regularly. He has been on Wednesday with Tommy Nim a time or two, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get him to join us regularly.
With Mr. Tim. Tim's on the Wednesday show too.
Yep. Yeah, I just said that.
Wednesday, wow.
I just said Tim was the producer on the Wednesday show. Pay attention.
Okay, I'll shut up now.
Okay, so we're back to talking about signatures and charging for them. Thomas Formandi said, hello, everyone. How y'all doing? Hey, you're here with us. Stop typing.
That's weird.
Oven says, hello, Silverline family. Oven! How are you, man? We hadn't seen you here in a while. Good to see you. Oven, we're talking about signatures here and creators charging for signatures. So we kind of covered the whole signatures and charging and that kind of thing. But now let's enter. Pete dropped this a little bit early on. Let's kind of introduce the idea of flipping. If you know someone is going to flip, or maybe I should say, let's go back and talk from the creator's perspective. How can you tell? Because Barb said, oh, you can always tell when someone's when they're going to flip. So what are some of the signs from the creator's perspective that someone is going to flip a book and they're not really that interested in your signature for you, but they're trying to get some money? Discuss.
Man, I don't
and
know.
they walk up
Barb's like, I ain't going first.
20 copies of the same book. That's number one thing. You go, I think something's going on. Yeah.
So would you sign any of those?
I have.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
All 20 of them?
Yeah.
So you admit you're part of the problem.
So
okay.
wait a minute. So hold on now. Let's back up.
If
just
there
a
was
little
nobody
bit.
else in line, so usually if you know,
So
there
hold
for
on.
a little bit of time. I'm sorry.
So let me, because Tommy, you and I did a signing session at Coliseum of Comics here in Orlando. Who is a regular supporter of our Kickstarters? Now
those are his books.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is that a little bit different? Because we were sitting there, and he got a chunk of books, and we sat there and we signed them to people coming into the store, and then there were copies left over, and we signed those copies for him. Now, is that different?
Yeah.
I think so, because you're there supporting the store, aren't you?
Okay. Yes.
I would see that as different than if he just came up to me when I was doing free signatures for people who like their books and just thought, right, I want to cash in here. I don't know.
And then when you're supporting the LCS, which is part of the chain of getting the books to the fans.
Yeah.
You know, and if it was a
Barbara's just biting her tongue.
I was just gonna say, I mean, there's obvious signs of people who are gonna flip your book. You know, if they've got it bagged and boarded and in pristine condition, and they want you to put on gloves before you sign it, you know they're gonna flip the damn thing. You know,
and they're pulling the books around in big carts and stuff like that, and you got like 4 or 5 long boxes of stuff.
I'll argue about that for just a second, though, because I had a guy bring up stuff to me when he had like a cart of stuff, and he wasn't that particular. He just had a whole bunch of books to be signed.
And then there's the person who came up to me in St. Louis here last year, or a couple of years ago, and said, "You know, I wasn't planning on coming until I saw your name, and then I thought I have some of her stuff in my album somewhere," and they dug them out. And usually when I do signings, I'll sit there and I'll talk to people for quite a while. You can kind of get a feel for if they're real fans or if they're just there for, hey, I just need you to sign this. And then they're off, you know, or if they want to sit there and chat. I loved your inks on so-and-so on here. And this was one of my favorite books that you did, or I have read every single thing you've ever done. You're my favorite inker. You know, you can kind of get a feel for it. And those guys, I love making their day. You can kind of get a sense of if they're just there to get your signature or if they're there because they are really a fan.
Right.
Well, but regardless, are you, even if you know that they're going to flip them or whatever at some point, are you going to go, I'm not signing them because you're going to flip them?
Oh, no, I'll sign them if it's
typically just sign them anyway. Yeah,
if it's within reason. If they're going to pull out 20 copies of everything, then yes, I'm like, I'll sign 2 or 3 of these, but not the entire 20, you know.
Right. And you know, if there's like other people trying to get something done or, you know, get you to sign stuff, it's like, you know, come on. And now if they're all bagged and boarded and stuff, I'm not signing any of those. So you gotta take them out of the bag.
You'll sign them, but they gotta unbag them.
Oh, they gotta do it.
Yeah, unbag those puppies.
Because you know how many times have you messed up your own books when you're pulling them out?
Right.
It's stuck on there. You're like, you don't want to ruin something.
Try not to touch the cover while you're signing it.
Oh yeah, you're reaching.
Have you ever seen any of them bring you a book that has a screen over it with a window literally cut out where they want you to sign it?
Several times. Yeah, they have it specifically where they want you to sign it. Yeah.
That's a dead giveaway.
They have a little window cut out, right? And the whole book is covered.
There's moments where that's not a dead giveaway. That's just a collector that doesn't want the signature to ruin the image on the cover. They want it where they want it. That's kind of out of the way. I will say I've seen situations like that.
Yeah, I agree. The 1 or 2 that I've signed, the person that had them was a collector and they weren't selling. They just knew where they wanted my signature to go, and they had a little window on there that they just said, I want you to sign right here, and the rest of it was protected.
Yeah, you can ask Roland. I'll take it and I'll sign it sideways.
Yeah,
crooked this way. And
so I remember
all over the place.
It's funny. When I first started this, you know, way back in the late '80s, you know, we went to a lot of shows with Mitch Bird and Stephen Butler, and when we first started signing the books, I can remember Mitch saying, "Don't sign over all the art."
Don't mess up my art. Right, the big blank spot.
Yeah, it's like, and because you know, I wasn't thinking anything about it. I just, you know, a fan to come up, ask for a signature. I was just signing it, right? He was like, "Yeah, don't sign over all the art." So I do try to pay attention to where I sign it now. I try to look to see if there's a place that will, I usually try to find.
Obviously, it should go. Kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, Malibu used to do they used to have the names up in the corner on that little Nabisco looking stamp, right?
Yeah.
And so I used to always try to put my name up somewhere close to that.
Visco looking stamp. Oh, okay. I think I know.
Yeah, it's a little thing in the
look at
that they would do.
Yeah. You know Nabisco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So they used to have
a little triangle looking thing.
Yeah, a little triangle thing up here in the corner. See?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I just always called it a little Nabisco thing. So yeah, I would always try to, because our names, the creators' names are up here, so I would always try to sign up in that spot, close to the name.
Close to the name, yeah. So you can get out. It's just
So this does go back to, if somebody brings you a stack of books that are bagged and boarded or just bagged, what do you do? How do you handle that?
Take them out.
Yeah, I always have them take them out of the. I am not going to be responsible for untaping a plastic bag and accidentally catching it on the book as I take it out and ripping off the back.
Well, so you get me to my next question, because I was going to ask, so why do you do that? So if there are fans listening going, well, why do you want me to do it? But the reason is, we don't want to be responsible for destroying books.
That's the most part, and I don't,
just common courtesy. It's your book.
Exactly.
Get it out so I can sign it. Jesus.
Bring me a pen too.
Here's the Brit.
Yeah, it's labor intensive for one thing. So if they want my signature, that I'm not going to charge them for the signature, but the least they can do is take it out of the bag.
Usually I tell them to hold the book out, and I'll just hold the pen there, and they can just move the book underneath.
Yeah.
And just sign it how you want it to look, wherever you pick the spot, and I'll just hold the pen, and you just move the book around.
My other biggest fear is that it's some expensive book, and I'm gonna catch the tape on it from the plastic, and it's gonna catch on the cover.
Yeah.
That's my fear on the being bagged, is that if I'm taking it out, the tape will get stuck on it and rip it.
Yeah, luckily our Kablam books.
Nightmare.
When I got my Stan Lee autograph, literally there was hundreds and hundreds of people queuing up, and there was guys standing in the back of the queue. So right, get your book out, get it out of its whatever it's in. And then you hand it to a guy, and he'll hand it to another guy. He'll put it in front of Stan. Stan would sign it, and it was just a conveyor belt of just books just going down the line.
That's
then it goes
sad.
back to you. And I was like, well, it's efficient. What?
Because
they don't leave.
Right?
They got 500 people in a line. If everyone hands in Stan, Stan's not going to be able to get it out of the package without putting damage in it at that point.
So what did you have Stan sign?
I had an X-Men #1.
Nice.
And
which X-Men #1?
The original X-Men #1.
The only one Stan only did one X-Men #1.
Yeah, it wasn't the best condition.
Well, they had Stan sign a Todd McFarlane Spawn #1, for God's sakes. I had to ask.
Why would Stan sign a Todd McFarlane?
Why not? I'll sign it.
Why not?
I'll sign it too.
Just say it.
I have Stan's signature on Avengers #2.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like when we stopped using those paint pens. You remember the paint metallic pens? Oh yeah, messes that those damn things would make. God.
Yeah.
Ruin.
I would still use those sometimes at home. Like occasionally, like I talked with somebody this week who wants to mail me comics for me to sign, which I will do. I used to say, look, if you want me to sign them, here's the you mail them to me, but you got to send me.
You give them out your address though. That's a bit. That's a bit.
Well,
hey,
but at
I've
this
just
point...
seen the documentary Night Stalker, so very brave man.
Well,
y'all could just ask me. I'll tell you where he lives, so don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe if if I were someone different, it would matter. But yeah, at this point, I'm like, yeah, okay, here's where they are. Here's where I am. But what I was going to say, my only thing is that, hey, you got to send me the return postage, because I ain't paying to mail your books back to you. I'm happy to do it. Right, I'm happy to sign them. I'm happy to, to put them back in the mail to you, but I'm not paying to mail your books back to you.
And if you throw a couple of 20s in there just for me to hold on to, that'd be great too.
Okay, so I have a question. How many books did you get mailed to you from Variant?
From who?
From Variant. From
From IndieVolt? He hasn't mailed me any. Why? Is he supposed to?
I figured I'd ask just in case.
No,
he's a fan, so I figured he was probably one of the people that mailed them to you.
No. I will tell you this. Usually, the ones who are sending me, in the last few years, the people who send me stuff are the ones who come from the Ultraverse page. Yeah, they are big super fans of the Ultraverse, and usually, we're over there and we're active, and so they're like, "Hey, I've got some books. Will you sign them?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Of course, I'm always, yes, of course. But I'm doing Silverline now, right? Go look at Silverline. We've got lots of cool books, and I'm like,
if you like Ultraverse,
that's right. It's like if you liked that, you're going to love this too. So I try to make sure that I point them back this way.
And they're always like, no thanks, I don't read comics.
I only collect old ones.
I only collect them.
Yeah. Wubba said they do that with pinups and stuff too. I'm flipping. And he says that if he knows that they're going to flip, he's going to add their name to the signature.
I kind of do that sometimes too.
And then he said he's going to start using glitter paint pens.
Glitter pens. Yeah, those are way better than those the paint ones. Yeah.
So, Roberta, you got any thoughts?
Yeah.
Nope.
Tell us about what you think.
Sure. Nope. Well, I just feel like, at some point there's like, you're paying for their time, if you're that big. So I get
for the
it.
media person.
For the media people, yeah.
Do you know how much the conventions pay to bring those guys in?
I know.
Probably more than they should.
Yep. Some of them do for sure.
So I don't know how they all work, but I know how some of them work. I know how some, and Tommy kind of touched on it there. So, and I found this out from another one of these dead conventions, right? When I was talking to one of the zombies from The Walking Dead, and he said what happens is they cover his expenses, right? They get him there, his travel in the room, and then he has a guarantee. So now this guy's guarantee was low because he was just, third zombie from the left or something like that.
Third zombie from the left.
Yeah. Very super nice guy. So but he wasn't one of the main guys.
He took an axe to the head really well.
Yeah. He's been there on several different episodes. He's been there in several seasons, I think. Anyway, he said his guarantee was $500. And I said, so what exactly does that mean? He says, well, I bring pictures to autograph and I sell them at my table. And he goes, someone from the convention sits there until I make my guarantee. And once I make my guarantee, he goes, they leave. He goes, if I don't make my guarantee, let's say he's guaranteed $500 and he only makes $400, the convention will then pay him the additional $100 because they guarantee that he would make $500.
Now, if you're an A or B list celebrity, especially A-list celebrity, they charge an arm and a leg to come to your convention. So they're making good money up front.
Yes. And then they have a guarantee anywhere between 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. I think I heard one as high as 5.
Well, I remember this goes probably back 20 years ago. The Star Trek guys, these guys were $10,000 a day. Shatner, Nimoy, and these guys, they were pulling in $10,000 a day at a convention. Now, I don't think at the time, that they were also charging for autographs. So I think that you could walk up to them and get an autograph because they charged the convention to be there, and so that was kind of part of the expense. So I think a lot of them now work on the guarantees. It's like, you cover my expenses and then you guarantee me X and I'll show up.
Yeah. Now see, last year I was working for everything but a guarantee for Wizard World, and they were bringing in all B-list celebrities, including me. So they were covering my room and my travel, and my table. And, but then I had to make my own money.
Yeah. Now, from my perspective, and you can chime in, Barb, if you think otherwise. Now, from my perspective as a creator, because I'm not an A-lister, and I think that's very fair. It's like, look,
I thought it was eminently fair.
You cover my expenses so that I'm not out of pocket.
Yeah.
And
I had to buy my own food, but I made
Yep.
enough money. Subway doesn't cost that much.
You leave it to me then to earn my money, right, while I'm there. But
Right.
and I usually tell them, when I'm talking to them, I'm like, look, you do this. I'm happy to do panels for you. Anyone who knows me knows that I can talk about comics ad nauseum, right? So I'm happy to do panels.
Yep.
And so I think that's more than fair. I do know a couple of comic book creators who ask for guarantees, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
not many, but I know some.
Several of the creators around me were getting a fee to appear, but I wasn't, because I wasn't big enough name to. But I was just happy. I mean, I was going to Cleveland. I was supposed to before the pandemic. Cleveland, Philadelphia, New Orleans, St. Louis, Chicago, and I made Cleveland, and then the pandemic hit, and the whole.
Now, this was that for the Wizard shows?
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's pretty decent.
Yes. Yeah. I had a really good relationship with Wizard until the changeover of ownership, and then I don't know if they associated me with the people that were ousted, and so because the person who invited me and took care of me was one of the ones ousted. And he's now over at Ace, so I'm trying to get some invites to some Ace shows. So we got a couple comments here. Quentin Bedwell says, "Hey everybody, Martin, Roland, Aaron, Roberta, Barb, Tommy. Wait, what is Tommy doing on here?"
I don't know. I thought it was Wednesday.
Yeah, he said. Wubba said, "I saw a post by Bam Margera from Jackass last year or maybe a year and a half ago of him taking pics of all the cash he made at the Dallas cons and down talking comic fans." Ooh, yeah.
Well, he is on a
Quinn's
show.
washed up anyway. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Nobody heard you. It's just us.
Okay.
Quentin said, "Hello, chat. Chris, Wubba, Oven." Oven says, "Hey, sup, Quentin." Tommy says, "I'm hijacking the show, doing an intercompany crossover. I guess Wednesday Wham counts as you having your own title to crossover from." He was listening, wasn't he? Shoot, there are a couple different things I was thinking about then to ask. Okay, Roberta, you want to go ahead and share? I got 10:30.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brett, pop Roberta up.
And your feelings about signing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, give me a sec.
Because you are over in Hollywood, so you should be able to tell us about all of that stuff.
Yeah, when she was saying that because of you're kind of paying for their time.
Yeah, I was trying to say that, especially given that some of those lines are insanely long, I can imagine they can't do anything else, on any level if they're just standing there signing, So it's different from, I think, you walk by somebody that you actually are a fan of, and, then they'll go, "Well, yeah, I think I want to charge you $30. I think that'd be, a little bit more insulting. It's just where are you, in the scheme of, fan? Like, are you just waltzing up and talking to them, or, are you bugging them? I think like to some degree, Barb has this radar, I think I can imagine some part of you kind of feels like, this is probably someone that just wants to bounce out of here with a signature and doesn't care about my work at all, really.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, again, that's not something I've ever experienced. So my tune might change if I had, if I was seeing my autograph pop up on eBay the next day. But I know Barb knows him and Tommy knows him too. But our friends Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, I was talking to Jimmy one time, and he said that Amanda used to do a bunch of sketches for free, but he said literally at a MegaCon one time, she did a sketch for somebody, and that night it showed up on eBay.
Oh,
and she's like, I just did this for that person for free. And so I can imagine that would be incredibly frustrating because you're sitting there doing what you think is something free for a fan, and then it goes and shows up on eBay. And so I would be very frustrated in that situation too.
I have several friends that happens to all the time. And they stopped doing free ones because they would, every single time they would end up on eBay.
So let's talk about then, what are some, because I believe, and if you guys don't believe, then we'll get there, but I believe creators should sign autographs for fans. But obviously this can be a problem, the flipping and the reselling and that kind of thing. So if you're in that position, and let's assume that you're all going to be there one day. I'm confident that all you guys are going to be on the A-list one day and going to be in that same position. So what do you do? How do you handle that? How do you combat that idea and still sign autographs?
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out which A-list you think I'm going to be on there, Roland.
You're going to get the man.
I mean, we're talking about the one that's gonna with the hole on the end of it.
All right, let's
on the end of it. Oh,
let's make a make-believe situation here.
To get that one, John.
Let's make a make-believe situation here, and let's pretend that Divinity goes to TV, becomes a TV series.
Okay.
So, and then
you are in high demand.
And I'm in high demand. I wouldn't have a problem with doing free. I still wouldn't have a problem doing free autographs, but it probably would have to be limited to one autograph per person. More than that, and I might have to rethink that. But
now, what if they came up and had 3 copies and asked you to personalize all 3 of them?
Boy, you're just gonna come up with all kinds of what ifs here.
I am.
I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when
I say this because listen, I got 2 kids. Sometimes when I get something, I like to get for both of them, right? And so if I'm going to buy a copy of Divinity 1, I want to take one signed to both of them, right? And I get that you don't want to just put Barb on it because I can go, pop that on eBay. So would you be opposed to one of them to Brett, one of them to Brittany?
No, probably not.
Okay.
No.
No is the answer.
I mean, no. I said I wouldn't be opposed to it.
You must choose which kid is your favorite.
Would do it.
He said, "Would you be opposed to it?" And I said, "No, I probably wouldn't be opposed to it."
Yeah.
I would probably do it if
I was laughing at Tommy because Tommy's like, "No, I make you choose which kid you like better."
I have heard of some stories where the flipper gives you a sob story to get you to do it for free, and then turns around and sells it.
There's always going to be loopholes. You're never going to be 100%.
I can see John sitting there. How long is your mama going to be in the hospital?
Your radar may be good, but it's never going to be perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. I think that, when someone wants to get something over on you, they're always going to find something to get over on you. But and I'll go back to the people like for our local area here, like I'll use Jimmy some, and I know I've seen George Perez do this as well. George, the last time I saw him, which has been several years now, he wasn't charging for his autograph, but he was requiring that you give a donation to a hero initiative.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So I like that idea.
Yes.
I could go.
Jimmy, I think Jimmy's like you get 3 for free, and then they cost $1 a piece or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he had a couple for free, and then he charged for them. I think the other option is depending on how many you get 3 for free, then go get in the back of the line.
Yeah, because Jimmy and Amanda have such a huge line of people. They can't be signing 20, 30 books.
Yeah,
that line will never move.
Look, I saw somebody bring a long box up to Marv Wolfman before and ask him to sign like an entire run of Teen Titans and stuff like that. And Marv's like, I'm happy to do it, but you got to take them all out of the bags and put them right here. And he goes, and you got to stand over here. Yeah, you got to stand over here while I sign for these other people, and I'll work yours in. And the guy was happy to do it, but yeah,
and that makes sense.
Yeah,
it does. No, Tommy, you mentioned people walking up with a with big long carts and everything.
Wagon or something.
I saw a guy. Yeah, at MegaCon, he had this great big wagon, had like 3 or 4 long boxes on him, and he stood there. I thought he was parking. Nothing's worse than having someone park at your desk, at your table, right, and do stuff they need to do, right.
We need to do a show about that kind of stuff.
So I wasn't too worried about it because he was over at the side and he was digging through boxes, and I wasn't paying attention to what he was doing at all, but he was digging through boxes and talking to me the whole time. And then he pulls out this stack and he goes, would you sign these for me? I'm like, oh, those are for me, right? And he had a stack, about like that. It wasn't huge, but 20 books, something like that. And so I started signing them, and then I get to one of them, and I said, I don't think I did this one. He pulled out a list and says, yeah, I think so. And then he looks through it. He goes, your name is on it. And I'm like, oh, it is, isn't it? So, he had a master list of all the creators who, this was at a MegaCon, right? So there were a lot of it. He had a master list of all the creators who were going to be there. And he took all the comics he had for all those creators and put them in his boxes.
Yeah.
And and he just went around to all the creators. Who did we lose? Lost somebody.
Took my table off.
Oh, I got you. And he just went around to all the creators asking for signatures. So that's the thing I'll say, and now he didn't have multiple copies for me to sign. He just had, one copy of all these really off the wall, there was a lot of Malibu stuff, obviously, but he had some of these really off the wall. I'm like, what the heck is this? I don't even remember this. And there was my name.
Barb knows. It's like back in the 90s when I did all those card sets, and somebody would bring you a big old long those things, and there's like 100 cards in there, and and you ink them all, or you ink a bunch of them, and you're like, okay.
Or somebody was bringing something so obscure that you or something, they would bring you something so obscure that you had forgotten and you'd done it, and like, where the hell did you get this?
I know, right?
Oh, but I love your stuff.
I mean, y'all may remember Chaos did those leather books, right? Y'all remember the leather Lady Death pinup books or whatever, and people would bring you to sign those. And I'm like, you want me to? This is $100 book. You want me to sign up? Ruined your. You want me to, where do you want me to sign it? On the cover, and like, you want me to sign the leather on the front of the book? Can I just sign the inside somewhere? No, I'll sign the front. I'm like, on the leather. You want me to sign the leather? Are you sure? Because once I do this, your $100 book.
So you actually signed on the leather?
Yes, it's like signed it on the front on the leather, and I'm like, okay, your $100 book is now worth $3 now that I've ruined the cover. There you go, take it.
$3.
Yeah.
Pretty sure comics is the only thing where people want you to graffiti the cover of the book. Like, please graffiti over it.
I was like,
graffiti.
Okay.
All right, so this is a question to you artist types in. So speaking of graffiti, if someone asked you to do a quick little sketch, what's your thoughts about that with your signature?
I've got a little cutie thing that I do a lot. So just a little yeah.
I've done a remark.
Do you do it? Do you do it without being asked, or?
I do. I actually.
Pete says no. I see Barb kind of biting her tongue again.
If they've bought the book from me, or bought whatever it is from me, then sure, I might do something on it. But if they just come up to me, can you draw on this?
Gotcha.
It's like, I'm not free. If you want me to draw something, yeah, I'll draw it, but I'll give you a price for it.
Oh, I know you're.
I'm gonna say next to Pete. We got to do a show together because
I think we have discussed before my performance anxieties. Yes, the no sketches.
Yes, right.
I mean, if anybody's seen my signature, it's kind of a like artsy thing anyway. So I just do that, and then I just do a little face.
It's a T. Is artsy? Is that what you call that? It's a T and a line.
Yes.
Yeah. If I had it to do, if I had it to do all over again, and I know then what I know now, I've started out the industry by just calling myself Babs, and that's it. I would make it easy because to scroll Barbara Kailberg on every single book is just exhausting. I should have gone by Babs.
I got a way that I do the Thomas.
I'd be like Cher or Beyonce. I just be Babs.
Yeah, the Thomas and then the Flormonti I write underneath it because the T and an F in cursive is the same symbol, so I just kind of scribble one right over the top of the other, and it just looks like it's.
I was always jealous of Al Vey because he had 5 whole letters that he had to do.
That's nice.
So do we think this is why C. Michael Lanning just goes by C?
C.
So he can just sign C?
That's right.
New perspective.
Wubba says, "Hey, Roby is rocking a red shirt. Nice."
Yes.
And then
I love it today.
slow them from flipping. Yeah, it looks good. And then Wubba says, "Oh, Barb, my daughter wants your autograph on her copy of Divinity." We just remembered that.
And she wants 20 of them, by the way.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
Just she wants them for herself.
He's gonna mail them to you, but will you ship them back to him?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you'll probably see Barb at the show here, hopefully in the not too distant future, as we begin to open back up. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that would be nice. I've got my first shot, so I'm waiting for my second vax. So I'll be much safer.
Yeah, I've been seeing more and more of that. People getting their shots. So I think I saw Barry posted about it today, didn't he, Tommy?
Yep,
yes,
sure did.
Yeah.
He.
I thought so. I saw him post.
If people ask me for a sketch, I usually have to. I take my time. I usually because I'm not yet good enough to do my character. I always feel like if I'm going to give them a sketch, I should at least try to draw instead of just doing something with them like close enough, kid. Enjoy. But I asked for Batman. Yeah, Superman, Batman, whatever.
It's a smiley face. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me add ears to Superman. And
there you go. Right? That's Batman or Superman. Yeah. There you go. Close enough.
I remember one of the very first conventions in the late '80s, and I'm not sure where it was. I think it might have been Dallas, but John Romita was there. Senior was there at the Marvel booth, and he was sitting at how they have the aisles, right? He was sitting at the end one, so he was like at an end cap. And I seem to recall, and of course maybe it's just because he was John Romita Senior, but I seem to recall his chair was elevated a little bit, and there was a line that literally stretched around into the aisle, right? But he had like a stack of typing paper on his lap, and he would just say, "What do you want, kid?" And they would say, "Spider-Man." He'd go,
"Yeah." Those guys are great when they do that.
Yeah, and then literally, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that, and you get, there's a Spider-Man, right? And then hands them a sheet of typing paper and off they go. And what do you want, kid? I want, Captain America. Scribble.
Spider-Man. There you go. Do the same. I thought you said Spider-Man. Sorry.
Not charging a penny for it. So that still stands out to me today. So what other so we're talking about let's go back to the whole idea of flipping. So Pete, if somebody brings you 20 copies and you've got the good idea they're going to flip, what do you do? What do you Peter Clinton do?
I just say I'll sign the first 2 for free, but then it's like $5 for every 10 books.
$5, boy! I have got to sit next to you at a show.
But I just say, look, I've got. Hopefully, there's a queue of people. So I've got a queue of people. So I'm not going to sign all your books. It's not fair on everyone else. So I've seen people rock up, like you say, with long boxes of comics. I'm like, come on, mate, I just want one book. I just want to get one book signed. So,
but since you and I are working on a book together, if you could get $5 for a signature, I'm going to get $5 too, because we're going to be signing our book.
That's right.
And then shoot, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
we'll stick Roberta right beside you.
And when Roberta will be
You
there,
get
and then
$5.
we're all going to be on the other side. We could all get $5 a piece, boy.
Sounds
yeah,
good.
I remember at a con, a lot of the comic, Mike Zeck, everyone was bringing up that famous Captain America cover of his where Wolverine's scraping down his shield, whatever it is. And everyone, he's like, yeah, I will sign that. I'll sign like 1 or 2 books, but then after that, it's $5 a book or £5 a book. And because otherwise, people will literally, because he's got such a backlog of all his books, yeah, people will bring up boxes of his stuff, and it's just not fair. So he will charge thereafter. Also, the cons we had here, the one I was going to in London, every artist for every 1 hour a day, they'll have to go to a signing area, and they can't charge in that area. People can bring up their books, but they can only bring up maximum 1-2 books, and the artist has to sign it.
Wait. What do you mean they can't charge?
So the idea is for an hour, certain artists, 1 hour every day, they go over to a signing area, and
an area just for
signing. So people line up to see that artist. They know they're going to see that artist in that hour. They can line up, and the artist signs. The artist isn't allowed to charge in that hour. But then if you go back after the hour to their table, they can charge them. Yeah, and they would say, guys, your maximum is like, for some artists there might not be a maximum because there's just not that many books.
Right.
But for people like John Wheeler Jr. and stuff, they like to say, like, it's 1 book. 1 book you can have signed, or 2 books you can have signed. Because otherwise people will bring up boxes of stuff, and the queue would never move in that hour.
Right.
I thought that was a really clever idea, and I don't know why.
Yeah, and if you're at the end of the,
good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah,
as long as the artist on,
because
the only artist who didn't go over to the signing area was Neil Adams. Neil Adams was like, no, they can come here. They can come to me.
Come to my table.
He said he can do the hour, but they've got to come to me, because if they're at the table, he can also sell them other stuff while he's doing their free signature.
Yeah, and you notice his show.
Neil
He's
Adams
got like
sends-
5
he
or
sends
6
a sign
tables
over
worth
to
of
the-
stuff.
Yeah, right. All of his friends. Yeah, Neil Adams he sends a sign over to the autograph session that says, "Come see me at my table."
Literally, it was a sign. So go see Neil at his table.
Pete, you know I did a book with Zach, right?
Oh, did you?
I did. Yep, one of my highlights at Malibu. Sure did. And in fact, I had some up until recently, and this a few years ago, and I just had some odds and ends. And Zach was at the show here, and I'd said, "Hey, look, would you sign these? I'm going to put them in the bag." I said, "I'm not going to charge anything more for them." I said, I even told him, I said, "Look, I got, I think it was $10 for the whole set of them, because there were 4 books in the set. Like, I got $10 for the set. You'll sign these. I'm put a sticker on there, and then I'll sign them." And he said, "Sure, happy to do it." So he signed them, and I took them back to my table and put them all in
sold them $50
bags, right? No, I didn't. Yeah, but I will say they went pretty quick after people found out that he had his signatures on it. They went fast.
Yeah.
I carried them around with me for a couple of different shows, right?
Just because.
Yeah, and then Zach's signatures on it. Yeah, I'll buy that for $10.
Take that. Yeah.
Yep. It's the same book, and you wouldn't buy it before. Why now? Yeah, it was a lot of fun working with Mike Zeck.
Here, I have a question for you. Sorry, we're talking about convention etiquette.
Yeah.
What do you do when you get a fan? And I usually like talking to my fans, okay? But there's always that 1 or 2 that will just want to hang there. Like,
I hate time hoovers.
45 minutes to an hour, and you're going, okay, yeah.
I send them to the food court area to go get me something to eat.
How do you get rid of them without hurting their feelings?
I mean, the ones that keep coming up and like, "Hey, baby, what's going on?" Are those the ones you're talking about?
No, not even that, necessarily that. They're so eager to, have your attention that they'll tell you their whole life story and all of the ideas they have for their own series, and talk about all the characters they've designed, and just talk. And they won't go away.
Barb, I have told you before to get a life-size cardboard stand out of yourself. This is a good investment. You just put it there.
It's under the table, and you just kind of
pull it out.
it up like this, and then you scooch over to the side.
I know.
Gonna fake a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
When you start doing this and you slide under the table, you go.
Yeah, there's a point when my eyes are glazed over. I'm surprised that they're like, "Are you still alive?"
They're still talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually have to because when that happens, I usually will do a couple of things. One, I'll ask them if they'll stand to the side.
Yeah, because a lot of times
I'm happy to keep. I'm happy to keep talking to you, but stand over here a little bit so people can still come up and see my table. Otherwise, it's you're kind of blocking it. No one else will be able to come up and see it. Most times they're, oh yeah, I'm really sorry, and they'll stand to the side.
Tell them you'll keep talking to them. It's just going to cost $5 a minute.
Here's my tip jar.
$5. You don't want anything signed. It's
Right,
$5 a minute.
Yeah.
I'll sit here. $5.
I just do what I always do.
I have actually
Start
been
drawing.
Just keep drawing. Exactly.
And
Just
ignoring
keep
them?
drawing. Eventually, they'll realize I'm not listening anymore.
I mean, I don't like being rude, and I do enjoy talking with my fans, but 15-20 minutes is tops, and I'm like, listen, I've got other things I need to be doing here, but and they'll hang out if they hang out there for half an hour to an hour, and they're just wanting more interaction. I don't know how to get rid of them.
The other thing that you can do, and I have done, is excuse myself to go to the bathroom.
and then don't go.
I'd love to keep talking with you, but I gotta go to the bathroom.
Start squirming around.
And then one day the guy's gonna go, I do too. What do you do?
Walk with you.
I know that's the danger.
Oh no. Yeah.
And suddenly Roland's got a restroom partner.
Yeah, no doubt.
The guy will go, I've got to go too. Let's go.
Yeah. It's not so bad now because Dick usually goes with me to all my conventions now, but when I was doing them all by myself, I'd suddenly have my new best friend, would basically just hang out all day, and I just didn't know how to gently say, could you go do something
away.
else?
Go away.
You're making me uncomfortable.
When you told me I was your best friend, Barb, I really believed it. And now this is all coming out in the air.
That's out of the bag now.
Gonna make Aaron cry now.
Yeah, no doubt. And now I know why Roland's constantly going to the bathroom on the stream. Oh, Aaron's talking. I have to go to the bathroom.
Aaron won't shut up. I'm gonna go to the restroom.
You're gonna take a biological break.
You haven't interrupted very many people today. Is it just a Curtis thing?
I don't know. Maybe it is Curtis. I don't know. Strange enough, I don't know. I signed. I don't think I've gotten enough signing enough to like Barb and Tommy, where I've had the problem of like signing too many books. In other words, like I don't get many, requests my signature, so I'm not sure how much I can add to that. But fans that talk, I don't know. Usually I try to talk. I try to, I guess like you try not to be rude, but you kind of, maybe talk to another, like, the thing that irritates me is you're missing customers, people walking by, because they see you talking, they'll just continuously walk by.
You're missing opportunities.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you try not to be rude, and you also don't want to like piss them off because it's nothing like an irritated fan, especially one who's another con goer, like an actual table person down the road. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can always try to sell them something. You can try to keep.
I think they kind of fall into two categories.
Yeah.
It's the one who has bought the book that's sitting there talking, and you feel, or at least I do, I feel kind of like, okay, I need to talk to you because you purchased the book,
supporting me,
which I'm very appreciative of, and I appreciate you as a customer and a potential fan, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's the one that comes up and says they have no money, and then wants to tell you the story. Yeah, they want to tell you their 12-issue maxi series idea, and you're like,
page by page.
Yeah, and then they pull out all their sketches.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot because you were an editor? I wonder, because you're kind of the gatekeeper for some of these.
Oh no,
So
people do that to all of us. It's not. I'm sure they do it to Roland even more. But
okay.
they do it to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll see him coming down the row. You'll see him like the guy down there, and then he'll move, and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom before he gets here." That way you can skip over me. Here he comes. He's one over. I gotta go. I'm gonna leave now, so that way he'll skip me.
Yeah.
And they've always got this big portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever kneeled down by your table
art.
and started like shuffling through things and they walk by like, I'm busy.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Now you got the cell phone thing. You could do the old cell phone trick, right?
Oh, hello?
Hello. Yes.
You're like, hold on, I got a call.
I know.
And the thing is, I don't want to discourage them either, because a lot of these people are that's their dream. That's their absolute
Yeah, you got to be nice.
dream.
I've
never been rude or diskind.
I'll sit there and talk to them like a crazy person, like they are. I just keep talking and talking and talking.
Yeah. But I do have to
I'll look at
conduct
'em.
business too, so I'm trying to find a happy medium between crushing somebody's dream and them crushing mine. You know?
Well, we used to try to say, because around here, our conventions, the busy spot, the sweet spot for sales tends to be, the noon hour, kind of either side of the noon hour, right? So 11 to 2, something like that. If somebody brings me a portfolio during that time, I usually ask them to come back. I usually say, look, this is I don't mind. I'll be happy to look at your portfolio, but this is the time when it's really busy and there are a lot of people coming up. And I don't want to sit here and be occupied with your artwork and miss a potential sale. I'll just tell them that, right? I mean, because we go to the shows to sell comics, right? We want to sell comics. We want to make fans, and most people know that. Particularly if somebody's got a portfolio in their hand, that's kind of what they want to do as well. So I usually just ask them to come back after the rush is over.
Right, like later in the evening.
And always find something good in regardless of what they show you. Always find something good.
I have a formula, and I was talking about this before we came on. I have a formula because I have been on the receiving end myself of some critiques that are really painful. So I don't want to put other people through that,
Yeah.
So my formula is you start out with the good. You tell them everything that they're doing right, and the stuff that is really interesting to you, or that you think has a lot of potential. And then you throw in, but here's where it could be improved. And then you're telling them the stuff that they don't want to hear, pretty much.
I can see Barbara's.
And then you end up with giving them hope.
Teacher Barbara. That's right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking her initial.
Barb, I found out, Barb, when you use that kind of methodology, they tend to be open to, okay, well, thank you. Well, let me try a book. Let me try one of your books. Let me buy one of your books from you.
Yeah.
If you
can show them an example. Well, this is what let me show you in this book how if you would have drawn it, like, what, want to buy this? Yeah. I'll sign it for you. You're going to flip it.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you go and ask an artist or a writer for a critique, then at the end of that, you should buy something from their table.
You should.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah.
Can I have a print, or can I have the book, or whatever? I'm not saying spend $100, but
at least buy a book.
Buy something.
Buy a $5 book or something.
Right.
I've never seen somebody come up to me with the stuff that was so horrible that I couldn't find some good in it.
Something good in there.
Yeah. Barbara's only compliment is, well, you got the pencil on the paper. Congratulations!
I love your portfolio.
You look like your pencil was very sharp.
Is beautiful.
Well,
did you just buy this?
I've never had somebody ask me for an art critique at a convention. I've had people ask me for critiques.
Oh, you will.
Yeah. I have for some reason.
Now Friar Rush is out there. Now
so
general label. You're going to.
So general rule of thumb is don't laugh at the beginning. Wait till they're gone.
Correct.
Yeah, I just try to find one good thing and then one thing that I could help them with, and try not to don't kill them. Just find some.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of too many of those harsh things myself. I don't ever want to do that to somebody else.
Yeah. No, I usually never give critiques like somebody asks me, even my friends. I don't critique their art. unless they explicitly ask me. And then I tell them they suck. But I mean, that's because they asked. No, I'm just kidding.
They're your friends, though.
And they're I'm not saying they're friends with me. I'm just, but yeah, I usually, I just, and I've seen some people, I have some friends that I know, like I could critique certain things, but if they're drawing like a lot, that's just going to get worked out. So there's no reason to critique. Right. It's just that stuff will get ironed out.
Yeah. I gotta interpret Wubba here. Kasisi's here. He said LOL about something. What's up, Kasisi? Wubba said this. You guys help me interpret Wubba's. He said, I just had a brilliant idea.
Uh-oh.
3 remarks if they let the do glitter chickens.
They let you draw glitter chickens with the glitter gel pen.
I'm pretty sure there's I'm pretty sure there's a typo in there somewhere. But 3 remarks if they let the do glitter chickens.
All right, Wubba, you got to type that in again. Type it in again. Tell us what you're saying.
Stop drinking, Wubba.
Oh.
That's really why Wubba's not here, is because
he's drunk. Sorry about that.
I thought you told him the Super Bowl was over, though.
Yeah, I know. I did.
He doesn't know. He's still
it's
watching.
It's time for the next Super Bowl.
Yeah, he goes right to the next one.
It's going to be full of Busch Light.
Well, I just spotted the clock, guys. It's 11:05. As always, we've had a fun time. Anybody got any final thoughts before we go through the closing stuff?
Go to conventions.
each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that part.
No, that's not what you're talking about.
I didn't hear what Barb said. What did you say, Barb?
I said, be kind to each other.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think Barb kind of hit on it. Is that I try to respond in the way that I would want someone to respond to me. If I were that person on the other side, yes, I want some honesty, but I don't want a jerk. I want you to give me an honest opinion, but I also want you to give me honest feedback so that I can get better.
Right.
Because that's why I'm asking for your opinion.
Don't crush their hopes.
Yeah.
I would say work on a book with Peter and sit next to him at a show. So when he starts collecting signature money, that you'll get your cut. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think, and I usually tell, this is what I tell my, my students all the time. Hopefully the CC will confirm that. Is I tell them, look, stop talking about it and go make one. You're going to improve when you do the work. If all you ever do is talk about doing the work, you're not going to improve. But the more you do, the better you're going to get. You know what? Your first couple of pages, your first couple of books even, they're probably not going to be great. That's okay. You've got to get through those books before you can get to the ones that are good. And you got to get through the good ones before you can get to the ones that are great. So if you never do them, you'll never get to the ones that are great. So
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's let's go around. I think I must be getting a little bit of lag on my part again. Let's go around and tell everyone where they can find you. We'll go in reverse order. Tommy, thank you for hanging out with us on this Sunday, which is unusual for you. Usually you're on the Wednesday Wham. So Tommy, where can everyone follow you?
Just go on the Google there and type in Thomas Florimonte, Florimonte, since nobody seems to be able to spell it right, and you'll find me. You'll find me everywhere. Do I need to shorten it somehow or another?
You need to hold it. No. You need to hold up.
Oh, I need a little sign.
You need one of these.
Oh, yeah. I got one.
Yeah, that's right.
In the other room, I keep them too. But
yeah. Kasisi said, "Get through the bad ideas to get to the good." That's right.
That's true.
Aaron, what about you? Where can folks find you online?
Facebook at Aaron Humphrey. That's my personal, or Humphrey's Illustration. Instagram at ALH3810. And then Goblins on Webtoons, which I hopefully will start posting issue 10 soon. In fact, that's what I'm coloring right now. I'm talking with all you guys. So second to last page.
Nice. So
then,
close to being done with that.
It's going to be, it's fun to see it, especially when it's a 300-page book. Is it sad that I get excited about the thickness of the book? Now that sounds
cool.
weird,
I
but
love it.
you do when you actually like put all the books together. You're like, that's a lot of pages.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Viking Voltan, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
All over the internet. Probably in some bad places. No, I don't know. Yeah.
You talking to anybody tomorrow night?
You can find me on the dark web.
The dark web.
I have somebody lined up, but I'm waiting on an answer from them. So I'm not saying that yet.
Okay.
Are you going to be on regardless?
I may be on regardless.
Okay. So what time?
It'll either be at 8 or 9 o'clock at the latest.
After dinner.
That's your time, right? Central time.
Yes. But it'll be on.
So
John Martin,
you guys can look forward.
The artistic Viking, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me that way.
So look for John doing some inking tomorrow night. Watch him do it live. And ask him questions about his process. Roberta, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at on Facebook and Instagram under Roby Conroy, and that's it.
All right, Pete, what about you? Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
It's Peter Clinton Art, and just type it into Google, and you'll find me. But
you can also find him by typing in just a penciler.
Just I should buy that domain. Yeah.
You really should get that domain. You really should.
Penciler.com. But no, otherwise, Peter Clinton Art.
Tommy secretly typing. Just a pencil. Barb, what about you? Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Well, as we talked earlier, there's how do you spell Kalberg? It's BARBKALBERG. You can find Barbara Kelberg under Twitter, DeviantArt, Instagram, and Facebook under that name.
Facebook? Is that a new site?
Yeah, Facebook.
That's the new one.
And we now get to say Barb is the creator, co-writer, inker of the award-winning Divinity from Silverline, right? And I am Roland. You can find me on the appropriate Silverline places. You can find me on all the social medias under Roland Man. You usually look for my caricature. Sometimes it's Man Roland. I think I'm Man Roland on Twitter. We want to thank Daytona Beach Comic Con again for their support. Make your plans now to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con September 18th and 19th. Here in the Daytona Beach, Florida area. Look them up. I don't know the exact address, but you can find it easily. And you're gonna when you're making plans to come anyway, so you got to look up the address and find it yourself. So I was gonna say something else. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Somebody help me.
Profound secret of the universe.
Podcast.
Yeah.
So with the unpaid producer here, it looks like we have successfully taken a couple of episodes and turned them into audios. And so now I hope that we can schedule out our first podcast the 1st of April. So you guys start looking for that. And we're going to go weekly initially, just kind of see how it goes. And we've got enough streams that we can schedule this
a bunch of them.
For about a year. What we've done is that we pulled out the craft ones though, because we did several craft. Yep, we did. We pulled those out, and if we come back, we'll do those as a special Silverline craft podcast, right? But yes, there was a lot of visuals there, and kind of like so let's just stick with the episodes where we come on here and talk. But we still got a whole bunch of those, and we're just going to do we're now 2 a week, right? We're doing the Wednesday Wham and the Silver Sunday. So we've got 2 a week, and we can go for a while now. So we're going to get those scheduled out and looking pretty exciting. Looks like we can monetize it. I don't know exactly how yet because I got to get to that next step, and I can't get to that next step until we schedule them. And we still got 1 or 2 things I need the unpaid producer to do, and then we will hopefully get those started. But that's what I'm looking to get those started at the 1st of April. So those of you who prefer just audio, no video, and just audio will get to hear those. So the Silverline esports team, the PUBG team came in, they had a tournament. They came in 9th in their round last time. They were 2 points shy of qualifying to advance. It was a really, really tight game, and they literally just lost it in the last match out of 12 of them. So that was pretty close, but it's kind of cool to see the Silverline esports logo on the maps when they're having their wars. So that's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. They're not wars, they're fights. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Sorry. Yeah, he's laughing at me now. It's PUBG. But they, you get to see the Silverline esports show, the logo show up there, and that's kind of fun. So join the Wednesday Whammers at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. Yep, and then we are going to launch the Kickstarter that night. But until then, remember to make mine Silverline. Good night, everybody.
Good night.